see you at TransWorld.
You heard that right. I am going to TransWorld, and I thought that I should announce it the only way I knew how, which is with an Evil Dead reference. And I thought I would follow that up with a list of my top 3 vendors that I would like to see. And none of this is in any particular order, but I thought that I would arrange it into a shorter list than having like 5 vendors that I want to see. I think top 3 is a good number. So let's get right into it. Starting off with Distortions Unlimited, there's Scarecrow Wrath that was just unveiled, I think, 2 weeks ago at this point. And I think he's really cool, very imposing, pretty tall. He has bright orange glowing eyes that have the same light bulbs as tail lights in cars, which I think is a very cool detail. He has a crow on his shoulder. Now, he is not the conventional Scarecrow. He looks more of a mutated, like, monster Scarecrow. And I personally, the only thing I don't like about him is how he doesn't have any of the straw that a normal Scarecrow would have on it. But that's easy to add. It doesn't really matter. But I think instead of focusing on the negatives, we should focus on the positives. And it's just so cool. He has a crow, like a demon crow, which is really cool. And he's just an overall outstanding figure. Now, I don't think I will be getting him because I don't think he fits with any theme I'm going to do, but he's still really cool, and I think he'd be cool to turn into an animatronic or something like that. The next on the list is the Scarewolf Legend. Now, I would cover the actual Scarewolf, but I don't think it's going to be there because of the prop. Now, I know that was different last year because they had both mutants, but it honestly, I think just covering one is better than covering both. More condenses down the list. And I like the static version better, just because some parts of the animation of the animated one aren't my favorite, and I really like how classic just the static Scarewolf looks. And he is reusing some sculpts from Mutant, but I think that with the added hair, it looks almost completely different. I really like how the head is completely original. They didn't use any other sculpt for a werewolf, and it just looks like a classic monster. And the clothing choice is amazing, and I think seeing it in person will be really cool. Next up on the list is the Alien Parasite animatronic, and this is from last year. It has a high likelihood of coming back because of the spider alien that Distortions just made. Very cool. The reason why he's not on the list is because I'm going to get him before TransWorld, so I'll be able to see him before the show, so I'll already know what he looks like. But for the Alien Parasite, I won't be getting him. I'll see him at the show if he is there. Now, I really like this guy. You get a whole display case and everything for this animatronic. It creates this really cool scene, and you can trigger it. There's buttons on the front panel that you actually press, and it can trigger it. But there's also motion sensor and all that cool stuff. And there's these lights inside the actual tank part that it's a green shimmer light, and that actually inspired me to put Batch, a Morbid Industries prop, in a similar tank, and it looks like a liquid effect. And for the Alien Parasite, he does way more than just the light. The whole front glass panel goes down, fog pours out, and he jumps forward and spits water at everybody. And I thought that was such a cool effect because you're blinded by the fog. The glass is hidden, and you can't really see it go down, and he jumps out and spits on you. It's basically like how Mutant spits on you, and it's a really cool animatronic. Next on the list is the Mutant, but he's the animated version. I have in the background, I have the Static Mutant, and the animated Mutant is amazing. He spits water. He has LED. He's about, I think, like 600 pounds, because his backboard is completely steel, and it has LEDs and everything in that. It has sound, fog, and motion. Um, and everything paired together is very, very cool. He spits at you as he's thrashing around. You can change the LEDs, and you can have him just spit air. It's overall a very, very cool animatronic, and I really hope to see him because I've never seen the animated one before, but I have seen the static one, and the sculpt is amazing, and I would really like to see how it looks animated. For my last prop on this list, I'm choosing the Invasion of the Saucer Man display. Now, this is a prop that is remade from Distortions. They made it in the 90s and they brought it back. And the original prop was molded from the same molds that was from a movie called Invasion of the Saucer Man. And I think it's really cool that they use the same molds because it's very accurate to how the movie looks. And I really love the color schemes. There's two different colors you can choose from on their website. There's the green that has lime green and like a it's more of a like a brighter white mixed with lime green, and it's a really cool color scheme. Now, both of the clothing is the same on both, and then the next one is the like it's a burnt orange color with more normal vein looks for the veins, and the eyes are yellow as well. The next company on this list is Beastcraft Studios. Now, this is a really cool company. They do most of their stuff in silicone, and it is built really well. The sculpts are really, really good, and they do things from movies, but they're never licensed, so they call it different things and they make them look slightly different. But the fact that most of their things are made out of silicone just adds a whole new dimension. So the first on this list is the Dynamic Doom Shroom, which is based off of the show Last of Us and the game Last of Us. Now, it looks almost identical to one of the zombies in the game. It has a very cool crown, I'm going to call it, of the mushrooms, and it has some mushrooms throughout. But the clothing and the face sculpt and everything is really good. Very accurate to how the movie looks. And this is a animated prop. It kind of goes back and forth and sways, and the arms do move a little bit. And I just think it's a really cool prop. Now, for the next one, there is the Dynamic Subdweller. It's similar to the Doom Shroom with the animation, but it looks completely different. It has this robe-like attire and really cool, strainy white hair. It has white eyes, and I'm going to say it's like a ghoul creature. It's hunched over, and it has, as I said, the same animation as the last one. Now, the next one on the list is the rotating Baxter, and this is a pretty interesting prop because I've never seen something from this show, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, be turned into an animatronic before. And it is a fly creature, and if you've seen my 2023 haunted house, you'll see that I have a fly, like, mutated guy in my haunt, and I think this would be a really cool addition. I don't think I'm going to get it, but this guy, he has very cartoony. In this case, I like how cartoony it looks because the way flies look in general, they look a little bit cartoony. The eyes are weird. Everything's kind of weird and zany on these creatures. And I think in this case, it really helps out the scare factor because its animation is like a rotating, I don't even know how to describe it, like a rotating, almost like twitching animation. And the arms do move a little bit. And I just think it's a really, really cool prop. Now, the next on the list is the Static Count Orlock, and it doesn't do anything, as the name suggests, but it's their version of the classic Nosferatu. Very, very classic monster. I think it is the first vampire, at least in movies, and this is a really cool prop because it looks close to the original, but it also looks different from the original. Now, the teeth look very close to the original. The ears look similar, but in this one they have more bat-like features. And the hand pose is very similar to what Nosferatu did in the movie. And overall, I think it's a really, really cool prop. So the last one for the Beastcraft section of the video is the Vampire Bat animatronic. Now this is an amazing animatronic. It has a lot of detail. It's holding this, I think, a bone from a person. It's all like gory and bloody, and he has something hanging out of his mouth. I think it's like a piece of meat. And his wings move, his head moves, and the animation isn't the greatest, but for how big it is, it's amazing. So now we're on to the silicone mask section, but specifically one brand, and I think they make some of the best silicone masks that I've seen. Very detailed and for fairly cheap when you're looking at silicone masks. They're not going to be latex mask prices. We're talking like $600 per mask. But for silicone, it moves with your mouth. They're very high quality masks. They last for a lot longer than latex. And I personally think they're very cool. So, to start it off, we have the Big Kahuna Burger. Now, it's like the name says, it's just a giant burger that goes on your head. And I think this is very original. I've never seen a burger mask before, even if it's latex. And it's just so cool. I think it's a very funny concept. Personally, I wouldn't get it because it's not very scary. But if you're a theme park person or you just want to have a cool like mascot costume for Halloween, I would get this just because it's so funny and it's a really original idea. Now, next on the list is Reptilian Mask, which is a very, very cool mask. It is a alien slash reptile looking mask. It has some really long front teeth. I think they said this is their biggest mask they've made, and that's why it's a little bit more expensive than the other masks. Now, the eyes are huge, and it has this giant bulbousy brain on the top that is filled with foam, so it can still move with your head. The mouth moves, and it's really cool. So next on the list is the Squidly Squid mask, and it's basically just a really cool Cthulhu mask. In my opinion, it is the best Cthulhu mask there is. There's a few other ones that other companies made. And to pair with this, you have the, I think it's the squid gloves, which you can get painted in the same color. This was the Dazzler's Hooligan, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope to see you all at TransWorld.